Oh, there it is. Good morning. I'm just looking at the wrong screen. That's what happens. No, you probably don't know, not unless you're my age, and then you know. But babble. I'm going to babble on for just a couple minutes, and then what's going to happen today is I'm going to put some parts together. Here's some parts here. You can hardly see them because it's black on black. There's some more little parts in here that are black that are going to go on there. And there's some other chrome parts. Yeah. Well, there's other bits that need to be assembled, and I'm going to be doing that today. Yeah. So these got primed and painted, and then coated, and I'll explain that in a bit. And then these parts under here, these are the engine parts. Those are ready to be put together. And then actually that goes on here, and I'm not sure if I'll get around to that today or not. It depends on how the exhaust turns out, which is a chromed part, which is in a box over there. Um, yeah, I just got clutter here. Here, just. Hmm. I'm trying to like clean things up a little bit and keep things slightly uncluttered, but that's just not working too well. Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just wasting time before I actually start doing anything, so that I can stick with my byline, which is got hardly anything done, but took a long time to do it. So there. Well, what's happening here is that I talked about maybe getting a different um, gloss of paint for the interior of the car, so that the interior didn't look exactly the same as the bottom. So this piece of cardboard was painted with the black spray paint that I've got that I used for the Pogo, the propeller and things. And then I put different coats on them. I have clear overcoats. I don't know, you probably can't really see that much about it. This is red lines again. Hold on, I'm trying to fix something. I don't know if I'll be successful or not. Hi, who? You're on early. I'll do a flip. There, that might be better. I'm going to explain I'm going to explain the situation with the paint here, and then I'm going to do some flipping. So I painted this whole thing with the black spray paint that I've got, and I have enough yet for the interior, which is good. So this is the yeah, you can see the glosses. Huh, look at that. If I hold it right, this is what it looks like with no coating on it. This is with a gloss clear coat, which is way too shiny. I mean, that would look like you took the interior of your car and you just polished the whole thing. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I am on. Well, you have to get used to the schedule because the schedule had not been happening for about 2 or 3 weeks over the holidays and the early part of January. So this is just the second week I'm back after that. I don't know. I can't remember the dates anymore. So this is what it looks like um, without a clear coat. And then here and here, I have two kinds of matte, like really, really matte, flat clear coat. And you can see that it gets rid of the gloss. Okay. So the bottom of the car was painted with this so that it's very, very flat. And the interior of the car is going to have this slight gloss on it, which I think is that's about right. Okay, for a not overly polished leatherette interior. So I'm glad I did this yesterday. No, Hungarian Rhapsodies are really cool. So I'm your background noise. Is that it? Great. I guess that's what I do. Is I make background noise for people who want a relaxing environment. I'm just going to push these up out of the way and get my flipping stuff. Yeah. So is this pop filter not working? Is that what's happening? Can you hear that? Can you hear the rattling? Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting to know that the pop filter on the microphone is not working. So you'll be able to hear the furnace running like that. You probably hear the it's not really a sump pump. It's just a pump from a reservoir for the water from the humidifier. And you'll be able to hear the dogs barking. I suppose we should mention that to Alexis. Um, that the filter's not working and that the background noise is coming through. I don't know if she'll care or not. I don't really care. If you don't mind, I don't mind. Well, I'm going to flip the paint or no paint for today. I'm not planning on doing any painting, so we'll see. We'll see if the flip predicts accurately or not. Get this up, in case this thing goes, who knows how much area it's going to cover. Well, there's one no paint, and that's a paint. So 2 to 1 paint. Oh, well, I guess it's on camera. It's 3 to 1 paint. 3 to 2. 4 to 2. Paint wins over not paint. I guess maybe if I have to follow the rule of the flipping, maybe I need to paint something today. I wasn't planning on it. I'm not sure what it would be. Maybe it means that I'll need to get some paint out and do some little touching up or something. Who, who knows? Who knows? Okay, so here's some parts. These parts, here they are. These are going to be steps 9, 10, 9 and 10, and part of 11. Okay, that's what this is. And they involve putting the front suspension on the front of the car, like here, I guess. I keep not getting it in the right place. It's like I can't figure it out how to how to install it. It's really pretty straightforward. You know, it would be straightforward if I could see what I'm doing there. It goes like that. So I'm just going to use, I think I'm just going to use contact cement to put it together. Let's see. This really should, the front ones are not fitting right. They're too, I need to clean I need to make those holes a little bigger. I don't want to sand or file these little prongs because um, what could happen is I could scrape off the paint. And I believe this is going to be a little safer, is to just enlarge these holes a tiny bit by using a tiny, tiny drill bit. Pretty much just sort of taking some of the paint out. This is how I'm going to waste time today, by test fitting parts and saying I'm not happy with the fit, and doing this kind of thing that's going to just take a lot of time for no particular reason. Probably just drop things like that. I can do that. I can do a lot of dropping of things. That would be fun. See, it goes on there, but the real car, okay, that should be a tight fit. It should be, you shouldn't be able to see the get, like this one's coming along. Well, that's better. Actually, I'm not even going to cement it, I guess. I don't know. No, back here. Yeah, so in front it's very tight fit, but back here it needs some adhesion. I'm trying to pick up a drill bit and I'm failing. Here, this will do what I need to have done. Okay, so that will go on the front. I don't need this big piece of cardboard now. I'm going to very, very gently take this away by throwing it over there. Hear it fall on the floor. And then this goes on the back. Let's see how this fits. It fits pretty well there. Okay. So, yeah, those go. It kind of not sealed though. Ah, stuff didn't get painted very well. I'm not. I'm just going to leave that. It's going to be. That's going to be just a little flaw. If you look at it, it's just the back didn't get quite painted. I need to touch that though. That might show. Okay. Well, I don't know why that happened, but it did. So that part fits okay. The way I probably should use the spray paint. I hate to do that though. It's just the tiniest little spot. I just need to make sure it's black. I think I'm just going to use this. Just going to use the flat black and a little brush. Just get rid of that spot that either didn't get painted or maybe what happened was it got scraped a little bit. Okay, that was it. So the flipping thing was right. It said paint versus not paint, and there it was. There was some painting that happened. I guess you just can't mess with random fate or whatever that was. Well, I guess I'm just going to do this one step at a time. I'm going to be using the contact cement because modeling cement will dissolve the paint and really make a mess of things. So it's this, and I need a toothpick. And I need to make sure I know. I'm going to put the cement into the holes where where this goes, so that what happens is it pushes it down into the hole and hopefully doesn't like splat it out. Try not to get any little spider webby strings, because those, I discovered the hard way, actually can dissolve the paint. The spray paint is susceptible to that. Okay, and then I'm going to put tiny little dots of it, these and these bits, just so that it, because contact cement is supposed to stick to itself, right? So there, it's going to be the sticking to itself part. And then back here, okay, there and there and there and there. Everything is supposed to be done sparingly. These were the instructions on all of the model kits ever made. Let's be sparing. Okay, there. So now it's on there. And I just need to let it set for a couple minutes. And after that, cap this up so if it gets knocked over, not that I would want to knock it over, but sometimes things happen. Okay, so the idea here now is going to be to align this. This I keep reminding everybody, this is why I do not use CA glue, is that is not as forgiving as this in terms of lining things up. So that's where it should be. Why is there a little white spot there? That's gone. Yeah. They're supposed to sit there, and they are. So there's parts attached to there's parts now attached. And then this one, so it goes like this. White white dust shows up on flat black really, really well. And then there are some smaller parts that are supposed to fit on here somewhere. I haven't test fitted those yet, so I really don't know. I'm going to put this down and show, yeah, it's just much better. These parts, so these little parts, I didn't spray these, the matte color. So they're a little glossier, but they're not very big. It really, okay. Sort of, I'm gonna rotate it so it's like in the picture here. This is what I'm trying to do. Is this little part that looks like this, okay, somehow goes, I'm not sure how they expect this to be, how they expect this to work. There's supposedly a flat spot where this attaches. Here? Oh, good grief, really? Why is this going on? Should this have gone on first? Oh my. Okay, I'm gonna have to take this off. Fortunately, it does. It needs to go here like that. There's actually a little inset there. Okay, well, this was all just a mistake, I guess. Okay, I'm glad I caught it in time. All right, well, that might, the contact cement might hold down. It's supposed to be good for a couple hours. This will be a test of that. Yeah, there are no written instructions, so it was not clear. Although I guess if I'd really looked at the picture, it would have been clear that these needed to go on first. Okay, because here it shows that that's already installed before that goes on. I'm just going to let those set for a bit. Hmm. And then these other things, these definitely go on later. These definitely go on later because they show these going on. They show these going on step 11 instead of step 10. So this is already put together. And these somehow go on the top of the leaf springs. And then there's a end of it that's supposed to go into a hole somewhere. Maybe there. I don't know. This is becoming mysterious. It's becoming a mysterious thing. That was truly stupid. Well, these don't fit. I don't. So when that part's there, this part doesn't. Is it the other way? Okay, yeah, well, that makes a difference. It's not how it looks in the picture, but there it is. And then, yeah, some of the cement is showing here. I'm gonna have to do another one of those little magical touch-up things with a piece of the brush. Okay, well, so far I have to say this is not working. You know, I got the parts on upside down. I got them in the wrong order. The cement is showing. Yeah, I'm giving this like a, this is becoming like a 3 out of 10 kind of assembly here. But eventually, you know, not too much damage has been done. It looks like I'll be able to maybe get them on the right way. Not an auspicious start. Maybe it is. I mean, it depends on what the auspices are. I've got this, I've got cement here. It's going to be a problem. Well, I believe now that I have them on in the right place, in the right orientation. I think I've accomplished that. And now I can re reapply this. Well, that's that needs to be taken care of when I'm done putting this stuff on. Good thing you can hear background noise because I'm just not being very chatty today. Because I've just had, I mean, oopses have been occurring before I even really got started today. Not really good. Well, at least that part goes on now. The other ones sit where they're supposed to be. Okay, what I'm going to do is set this somewhere safe. I'm going to put it way over here, way over there out of the way. And what I've got here is a mess on my cement. See this? That's cement from inside the lid that is in the way. It needs to come off. I'm going to move that out of the way too, because I don't want to get cement all over the paper towel that I'm using to hold things that I don't want cement on. Yeah, that was gooey. And then there's something here, yeah, under here. Wow, that's a big blob. I should probably, I hate to do that. There's nothing good here about this. That needs to come off without knocking over the can. Good enough. That's better now. Um, oh, oh wow. Yeah, what manufacturer? Who made the watch that you're looking at that you think you have that will serve you well on your cruise? Maybe you can show it to us when we're, the picture anyway. Send a link. Um, okay. So I haven't tested these before. These are shock absorbers that are supposed to go on top of the leaf spring. Okay, they do. There's a spot there for them. But where's the other end? Here? Yeah, easier said than done, isn't it? Hmm. It doesn't go there. Oh, I don't know. I can't see where it attaches. And I can see it going there, but oh, okay, there's an opening there. Okay, that's how it goes. Hmm. And then this one goes, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Well, yay. Um, yeah, I mean, it's those parts go there. So I guess I need to get them to do that. Hmm. And then I can set this aside and breathe a sigh of, oh, uh, I guess that was okay. Need to get that into the little hole and then attach this up here like that. I'm just going to do one at a time because I don't know. I really don't know how this is going to go. There's another blob of cement there that needs to be. Let's touch the toothpick with my finger. That was truly, truly, truly bad. Truly, I'm having truly not good moments here today. Usually this is a Monday sort of thing, but Friday is being the day of, oh, this is not great. Okay, so now I need to get that. There. No, they're not falling off. So that's a thing. All right, I have done parts. Okay, I have done steps 9, 10, and most of 11. I haven't done the exhausts. Those are chromed, and they need to not only be attached here, but they need to line up with the exhaust headers of the engine, which need to be attached in a way that they match up, and I'll be test fitting those. So the next things I'm going to be doing though, I'm going to go back and do steps 6 and 7. 6 and 7, which is the assembly of the engine, except for the exhaust headers. And then the exhaust headers and the exhausts and the installation of the engine all kind of need to go together. And that needs to line up with the drive shaft, this thing. The odds of that happening, I think, are relatively little. And it does, how does the engine's not cemented in? I don't understand that. Well, when I test fit the parts, maybe I will understand it. I have a lack of understanding now. I'm going to take this. I have a box here with yeah. So I have a box. This is a box for parts. I have the seats in here. Those are ready. Those are actually ready to be primed and painted. Now, I think I primed them already. I held off on painting them until I decided how the interior was going to be painted. And the interior is going to be painted with the same black, but without the flat coat on it. Okay, so it'll be slightly glossy, just very slightly glossy. Say goodbye to all those parts. They're not going away forever. They're just going away for a time, during which I will be hopefully assembling these parts. I'm going to keep them in the box. So these parts all go together, and then these end up going on. Also, they end up going on under here, like that. And they're supposed to line up. They go on like that, out the side of the engine into the exhausts. Well, no, they don't. Well, it makes a difference if they're backward or not. In that case, they were backward, okay, which is not good. Is that, what's that? Good. These little white spots show up. Okay, that's how this goes. Yeah, that they have to go toward the back of the car. Duh. Okay, so that actually fits. It fits on there, okay. And the other one goes on the other side. These look like they should go on before the headers go on, but I guess they'll fit. Hmm. It's always a surprise when something fits. You just have to say that. It really is kind of a surprise. Something goes on the way it should. This side isn't, yeah, there it goes. Okay. Um, having coffee this morning, just water. How about that? I only got it used up an hour. You can hear all the clanking and things now. Here. So can you hear this now? Can you hear the vibrating for that? Used to not have the vibration sound. That was another use stuff. Okay. I'm gonna put the starter on kind of. I guess I'm gonna put the valve covers on first. They go on the top here, and then the distributor, and then the carburetor. Yeah, and then the starter. The starter goes on the side down here. I guess it goes over that. It doesn't seem right. Okay, I'm really confused. What is this thing? That Look at it. The starter's already there. Where does this go? It looks like it's supposed to go. I really don't know. I'm very confused by this. Because that is already attached and it keeps showing white, and this does not go over it. And that's got the little ratchety thing like that. Look at that. I don't I don't understand where that goes. And the starter shouldn't go on the side like that. That doesn't make sense. It should go. Here? Oh, here like this? Oh, it does. Okay. It's looking toward the back. It goes somehow goes there. Well, that's interesting. And the oil pan. Huh. That took a while of mystery. And now there's a white spot there. Okay, that's more touch up that needs to be done. Um, Okay, that was just that was a surprise. I didn't know it would have how that would work. Um, there's the black paint. There's like three kinds of black paint out here, and one I need is this one. I'm just going to take a little. There's just a tiny little spot on here that needs to be touched, and I'm going to do that now before I assemble it. I don't because I, this is easy. I just have to put a little paint on it like that. But if it's assembled, then it's very hard to get to. So I'll let that dry. Okay, well that was interesting. I just wasn't really sure how that was supposed to fit, but eventually I discovered it. Yeah, that doesn't need to stop me from putting on some of the other parts, I guess. These will be equally mysterious, I'm thinking. So the valve covers are not interchangeable. Let me just get these parts out. One goes on one side, one on the other. These go on the bottom of the car. This goes on the top. The valve covers number 81. This one goes on this side. And that doesn't look right. Huh. What's there? Okay, that's just really confusing. Oh, well, because it's upside down. Yep, I have to pay attention to that, don't I? Almost put it on the wrong way. Yeah, because there's openings underneath like that. Just there like that, and then this goes on like this, and that doesn't quite fit. It's huh. Okay. Well, that's not coming off. That's just stuck there now, without any cement at all. Let's see how it happens with the other side. I actually kind of like these parts that fit by friction like that. Then I don't have to worry about cement getting on everything. Yeah, that one's staying on too. Then I have them on the right side and the right orientation. Now it's shiny, very shiny. Okay, another carburetor. Carburetor goes on like this. No, it isn't going on. No, it doesn't. Oh, I see. This is very loose. It's just loose. See, so that needs to be cemented on. Um, Make sure it's the right orientation. I'm looking at this, and this little prong thing goes there, and this little thing goes in the front. So if I can get this aligned, it should stick on there. There. And it does. Now I've got shiny things on the top of my engine. Kind of rotates. I have to make sure it's aligned. This had the same, our first car was a Ford, and it had the same engine in it, not as shiny. It wasn't, tuned up like this. Um, but it was a 289 cubic inch engine like this, and it had a carburetor, and the carburetor just never worked. So this one's not going to work either because it's just a piece of plastic. But the the real carburetors are the thing that mixes the air and the gasoline together before it goes into the engine. And there's a little valve on the top called a butterfly valve or flap valve. Sometimes it's called that. That opens and closes, and when it closes, there's less air mixing with gas, and if it opens, there's more air mixing with the gas. And that makes a difference in how the engine runs at different temperatures. And our valve never worked. We put 3 carburetors on it, not 3 at the same time. Okay, that would have been silly, but in sequence, one after the other. None of them worked. So I don't know. Maybe this one worked on the. I'm sure that Shelby picked good carburetors when tuning his cars, so that they would, work. And that's the distributor. And if I were very, very fancy, okay, I would run the wires from the distributor cap to the cylinders here, but I'm not going to do that. These parts don't fit. It's a very, very tight fit. I wonder if I shouldn't. This is why you should always test fit your parts before doing anything. No, that's no better. No, that's how it goes. I mean, there isn't any other place to put it. So that's where it is. On the picture on the front, it looks like it's off center. Okay, but it's not. I guess that's going to be how it is. It's just a very tight fit. Okay, well, I'm going to let that set for a bit. And the next things are to put the starter on back here. Get that on, and then the oil pan. I'm going to test fit the oil pan here. I'm checking this out like this mostly to see if how the starter is going to go. You know, which should go first, this or the starter. I think I'm going to put the starter on. I'm going to put the starter on after the oil pan. You know, that little tab fits. There's like a little notch there. It makes sense that it would go there. But that'll fit. I'm going to put that on after this, but before I put the bottom bit on. No, the distributor keeps wiggling. Whoops. Why is there a shiny spot on it? It's a little white spot there. Guess that needs to be painted. Hmm. Okay. So after this finally stops wiggling, I'm going to touch that little spot. Hmm. No, I'm just going to do that now, like I did the last time with another little spot. I guess that looks okay. It's oriented okay. So this is just all going adequate. You know, I haven't messed anything up terribly yet. Not terrible anyway. The chrome, I have to say that, the chrome bits, they're actually quite slippery. Okay, well that fits. I'm a little disappointed that the sprue was attached at the very front of the engine. So the chrome plating is off right there and there. Okay, it's not sticking. Did I not get the cement on? I didn't get any cement on it. So I'll put it on here. Hope for the best. Well, it was okay until it wasn't, huh? Okay, now it's gripping. Need to get this lined up. This whole assembly, this thing gets attached. It's attached here later. I know that. It's on there. I should have put that on last because I keep sticking my finger on it. I keep bumping it. Okay, now I need to put the starter on. There. Need to get that little tab in the little notch there. But it's sticking, and that's good. Is that a white spot on the blue? I just mix some paint. Might have to do a tiny blue spot touch up there. I'm going to do that right away. Um, this is like point of the toothpick kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so the next step is to put the flat the protector on the bottom of. Well, the next step is to not keep bumping, grabbing, bumping, pushing around the distributor cap. I really need to not keep bumping it. I don't know. Sometimes there's just a thing that can't be avoided. It just keeps getting bumped. Okay. This goes on. I guess it doesn't matter. There's a little spot on it that goes toward the front right there. This goes on here like that. And the purpose of this is to protect the oil pan from being smashed by road debris, like going over a rock or bottoming out the suspension or something. Okay, so this is a protective plate. And I fit this before, and I don't know why it's not going on this time. It goes on that way. No, it doesn't. One of these pins just seems to be bigger than the other. There. This might be one of those things that just is held on by friction. Yeah, it is going to be one of those things that's just held on by friction. There. So this is pretty much put together, except for the fan part that goes, if the engine is facing this way, goes here like this. Oh yeah, that little pin goes there. That's a guide, isn't it? And it's cool. The pin the pin is too big for that. So what will need to be done is I need to make that smaller without damaging anything. And keep rearranging the distributor. So this needs to be really quite small. So I'm really not going to try to drill that hole. This is the better way to do it. Good. Good. What did I do here? What did I do to the starter? It's always important to stick your fingers in the place. I just do that so much. At least it wasn't wet paint. I guess there was that. still way too big. Needs to be vanishingly small. Tiny little bit protuberance just for alignment. Did I just bump that? No, that's just grit. Okay. The file slipped, of course it did. Keep trying this to see if I can't get it to fit right. There, that looks much better on the top. It's okay on the bottom. The same sort of issue. The chrome part sticks out further than the blue part. Yep, that time I did it. That time I did. Caught that spot there. When you do modeling like this, my advice is, be careful and don't keep messing up like I do by just bumping things into places where they shouldn't be bumped. Don't keep putting your fingers on, don't just keep bumping into things like that over and over again that you don't want to bump. I'm going to probably break this sometime. And that fits okay. Okay. I'm just going to put this on now and hopefully it'll be just fine. But it is attached. Actually, it looks okay. This all turned out okay, I think. Um, the fan belt came out okay. That was a pain to paint, but it looks good. All the parts are on. Needs to be rotated just a little bit. It keeps moving because I keep bumping it. I could set this like that. That's actually, that might not be a bad idea, just to keep the weight on it like that. The starter is, oh, yeah, I just bashed it. Okay, what I need to do, is just stop touching it, making sure it's kind of lined up. It all looks pretty much in line. Um, all the pieces are on, they're not falling off. That looks in alignment. Um, Good. I'm going to do, because I'm not too worried about the paint right here. Let me get this piece of wood I got here. I'm just going to stand it up like that. So that so it's just there. It's just there. Yeah, the fan doesn't look like it's moving. It's attached. There. That's it. I'm going to just put it in there like that and set it in the box. This box these things are now empty. And that's going to go over there, out of the way. I've got these nice boxes here for parts that I'll keep here. I'm cleaning up. Look at me, I'm cleaning up. I'm putting things away to move on to the next thing, on the car. The next big thing on the car would be to put the exhaust headers on the engine, put the engine in the frame, put the frame in the exhaust and the drive shaft all together. So a bunch of little pieces that all need to fit that probably won't. I'm just going to anticipate that they won't, just like some of this others didn't. But I want that to set up before I start messing around with it again. So I'm going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the exhaust, the chromed exhausts out. Because what has to happen is that these exhaust headers, okay, these things get attached to the engine. The engine gets put in from the top. Those headers need to align with the exhaust. If I cement the exhausts in and then hope that they align, they're not going to. So this is another one of those things where the headers and the exhausts and the engine all need to go in together, not 1, 2, 3, and hope that they line up. And hope that they line up and that the parts fit, but that they all need to be tested. They need to be test fit, and then probably just assembled all at the same time. So I'm going to get the exhausts out and get them off the sprue so that all these parts, these parts, these parts, and these parts all can be done together. I'm probably going to wait until Monday to do that. It's already like 2 hours into the stream, and that's when things start going poorly. I wonder if I can just set this flat. Wonder if that would be okay if it'll set. Yeah, I can just do that. I'm going to cover this up, not mess with this. Get my box of parts here. There are all the interior parts too that I can be starting to work on those. In fact, there is one part that I know I need to work on. It's the pod for the tachometer, and I showed this to you. There's this big divot in it. What I'm actually going to do, well, okay, I'm going to take this part. I'm going to take this part, which is the shelf for the spare tire, and the spare tire. And the body here. The exhaust isn't chromed. What? What is this? I'm confused. What is this? Where do those go? Is that an option? So can I can build this. Looks like a stock exhaust. This. Or with a chromed exhaust, but there's nothing in the instructions. I really am. I'm kind of baffled by that. Well, let me get these bigger parts off. Because I know these can be primed and painted black. No, I'm really kind of confused because this is like a stock exhaust, but there's also a chromed side exhaust, and I don't know how this would fit. Let's see the exhaust pipe. That's where the headers fit. Okay, well, I'm just going to mutter to myself because I really don't know. I don't know what's going on there. It's very weird. But this isn't a waste of time. These parts, you know, I want the cement to set up over the weekend before I start trying to put parts together. But this divot, what I'm going to do with this divot, I'm just going to do it right now. It's going to take several coats of this because I need to fill that in, and I'm going to use this filler. No, I'm not going to do this right now. I'm going to do it after I get this off. Duh. That would be dumb. I could spill all over everything. I've just cluttered the work area in here. This is where it starts going. Well, I guess eventually this will get done. So what I can do over the weekend is I can prime these and paint them, and I can actually paint the seats as well, I guess, because they're all going to be painted that black, that slightly glossy flat black. So I've got an hour left to make. I can, yeah, I can get these cleaned up. The interior here leaves a lot to be desired. The pedals are supposed to have. I'll just show this to you. These pedals, which are molded in, this is supposed to be aluminum, and they're supposed to have a chrome edge all around them, which I'm going to try to do. This is chromed, I think, the boot here. The door handle and window crank, which are barely embossed on there, just barely embossed, are supposed to be chromed. And this bit here, the trim under the door handle, is supposed to be chromed also. Most of this is just black. It didn't. This didn't come with floor mats. It's not a very fancy car. The seats go here. Okay, that's really weird. The 2+2 version of the Mustang actually had rear seats, but that goes on and covers them up, and the spare tire goes in here. So the GT350 didn't have rear seats like this. Okay, it looks like what they did is they just used the same model mold for the GT350 as they did for the regular Mustang, and they just put an overpiece on it like that, and then this goes here like that. So I hope that's attached well, because if you hit the brakes really hard, you don't want that to go smash you right in the back of the head. But this stuff is all painted that black color, so I'll prep these pieces. And then I need to find out what's going on with the exhaust. I'll do that in just a little bit. But first, well, no, I'm gonna get that out first because I have to. What's that? The engine firewall. Yeah. Okay. I'll take this. Just stuff around. This is the custom chromed side exhaust. Maybe I'll try both. I'm not sure. I'm cutting that way too far back. No, it is what it is now. And try not to mar the chrome. So the way these work, supposedly, is the muffler doesn't muffle that much, and the exhaust goes out the side of the car there. Oh, this is really sad because it's all chromed, but it's got, of course, it's got the lines on it, the mold mark lines under the chrome plating, and so it. I don't know. I might not do that. I might not put the side exhaust on because it just doesn't. I don't think they're going to look very good. I guess that's to be seen. But I need to fit all these parts together. And so I'm going to wrap this back up in the tissue so that it doesn't get all mangled any more than I'm mangling it. And I'm also going to get the stock exhaust. I need these parts. Don't need those parts. I need this in a bit. But I'm going to remove the side exhaust here. And I may end up using this instead. I might use the stock exhaust instead of the chromed one. I'm just thinking it'll look better. And the reason is that, as I've said a million times now, the these things are injection molded, and the molding process leaves this little ridge along the sides. And the chrome plated ones have that ridge, but it's under the chrome plating, and I can't take it off without destroying the chrome plating. And so if I use these, they're going to have that flaw. But I'll prep them anyway and test them and see how it works. Okay. I'm going to do this while it's still on the sprue, rather than taking the part off and potentially losing it. But yeah, for the better part of valor, okay, I'm going to do the better part of valor here. I'm going to cut this whole piece off from the rest of it. And I'll show you why in a while. I'm thinking ahead here, believe it or not. I'm anticipating things, sort of. Yes, I can just break this. That's not a problem. There. Okay, then I don't have to worry about those parts getting messed up while I'm messing up this part. I'm doing my best to mess things up, it seems. Okay, um, get this cleaned off, and then I'm going to get that block of wood that I keep putting away and then bringing back. I'm going to do that. Because what I want to happen is I want this to stay vertical like this. So I'm going to take a clip, an alligator clip like this, okay, and put it in here. Yeah. And then I'm going to apply the filler there. And as I said, this will take several coats. It's a really deep divot. It's a deep divot right on the top of that, which is a prominent part of the dashboard. So when I'm done putting this filler on, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break for a bit, and then I'll be back after the break. Okay, this shrinks as it dries. That whole thing will be sanded, but I want it to get filled. So I put way too much on there, but that's okay because I'll be sanding it all smooth and it'll look factory fresh. It's like a 1965 car, factory fresh. 14 manufacturing flaws, one of them serious. It's the kind of stuff that we used to get. And I'm just going to leave this with it. Well, you can watch that. Just sit there. And I am going to take a quick break. I'm not going to put the break screen on because this won't be very long. And when I get back, I'm going to prep these parts so that they can be primed and maybe even painted over the weekend. So I'll be back in just a very few minutes. Okay, well, the very few minutes is over. What I'm going to do though is get things prepped for spray painting. I'm going to probably try to paint these seats. I'm going to set this aside. The motor, I'm going to just show you this just to remind everybody I did something today. Because of course everything's in the way of everything else. Is I did the motor. I made it. I put it together. Things seem to be pretty well aligned. That's good. And then this will eventually be installed in the bottom of the car, which I also assembled earlier today. So I could put that. I could put that in the box with, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it like this. It's going to not mess with it any more than I absolutely have to. I already did. So there's that. That filler is going to set up over the weekend and then require a whole lot of sanding. These guys, you know what I can do? Oh, I haven't been watching the weather. That winter storm down in Texas and Tennessee, it's getting bad. Okay, so this exhaust, I'm just curious about how this will fit. I'm not going to attach it. I'm just interested in seeing how this actually is supposed to go on. Um, so a pin that goes here. Okay, here and here. So it just attaches. That's simple. And it just attaches like that. And this is supposed to somehow line up with the exhaust headers on the engine. So that would be a simple thing to do. But I'm not going to clean the sprue barks off of it today because I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to do it on Monday when I'm not in the last hour of the stream. The other thing I can do is I'm just going to check this out. This is the stock exhaust. If this goes on, it goes on like this. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. It goes under here. If this was to be used, it was to have been installed before the drive shaft. Nice, huh? Hmm. Why did they even provide it? And there's great big mark holes down there for it. Well, that's just something. That's why the instructions don't reference it, because it is not possible without disassembling it. I mean, could take what could be done. This would be kind of, I mean, it actually could be done. is to take the exhaust pipes, the tailpipes, these are big long tailpipes, and remove them from the mufflers. And then these could be installed and then attached to the muffler. That's not a bad thing to do, really, because that's how, I mean, they were separate pieces in real life. But that could be put on like that. On the other hand, these these go on just really easily. They just go here, here, and here. It's like that. You know, and they're kind of shiny on the bottom. I think it doesn't hurt anything to put the chrome side exhausts on. It's just kind of interesting that they actually provided the stock mufflers. The problem, I'm really kind of disappointed in this. Hmm. Is that um, there's mounting holes down there. Mounting, really? So now there's mounting holes down here. You can see them where it was supposed to go. So what needs to be done, because those are bad and they're going to show. And I was kind of concerned about that. So if I don't use the stock muffler, what I need to do is fashion like little plugs. I mean, it's okay if there's plugs showing in from the bottom, I think. And paint them black and just put them in there to cover up the holes. I have to try to remember to do that. But that could have been done. That could have all been done as part of the preparation of this piece. I have to throw a white spot there now. Is that not a piece of dust? Am I getting little white spots that are sticking? What is that? Hmm. Do I need to get the black paint out? It was there before. Okay. I can't leave that untouched. So yeah, those holes need to be plugged from the bottom and just paint, just, I can just probably like even tape over them and just paint it black so that, but I'll probably make a little bit of a plug. These are really big prongs. I can probably take a little piece of those off, paint them black and insert them. Um, this is a tip of the toothpick kind of thing again. Okay, well, that was interesting. I was wondering what that was all about, and it's pretty clearly for the stock model and not for the GT350 model. And it can be used with some difficulty, but I think I'm going to just go ahead and put the chrome bits on anyway, because it's advertised that way on the box, chrome side exhausts. It's oddness. Um, well, I was going to sand and file the stock exhaust, but I'm not going to bother doing that because it's not going to be used. So I'll just work on these. Okay, I'm going to just do this little prep work on the body, and then I'll be able to prime and paint this the flat black spray paint. I'll be able to do that, and I can begin to work on the interior. Just getting some of the little flashing bits off. Yeah, separate piece. That bit there, that bit there isn't good. I think I'll just sand it, and then polish it, I guess. So slow progress, but it's mostly it's been progress. I got the bottom of the car put together, got the front and rear suspension bits put on, had to take them apart and put them back together. I got the engine assembled. I discovered that there is a stock exhaust that came with this kit that can't be installed very easily now, but that there are, because this model was designed to go, I guess, well, it has the three. They didn't change the regular fastback model very much. They just modified it some. And part of that modification is that there's mounting holes in the floor pan of the car that I need to cover up. And then piece together the exhaust and the exhaust manifolds and the engine. I'll do that on Monday, see how it goes. I'm kind of curious about how those parts are going to fit. Yeah, I sand where I'm not sanding. Okay, the sprue attachment was there, but I'm sanding the rest of it, and then I'll polish it so that it has a consistent surface texture once it's painted. Okay, it seems to have pretty much disappeared. And then I'm going to use this stuff and just polish the whole thing. get it consistent in its surface texture. So I'm going to yeah, spray paint this whole thing and start. It's got surface texture, sort of like it has floor mats, and then attempt to do some detailing on it. And I'll see how that goes. It could be fine. It could be not. I'm hoping it is, as opposed to not. So we're having bitterly cold weather here. The high today is going to be zero Fahrenheit, not zero Celsius. So it's minus many numbers on the C scale. Um, my brother lives in northern Wisconsin, and they're having minus 30 Fahrenheit, which is pretty cold. It was about that same temperature this time last year, too. I remember that because he had foot surgery and I had to drive and kept hoping that the vehicle would start. I actually didn't even arrange for an emergency radiator flush and refill so that the antifreeze was fresh because otherwise the whole engine might have frozen. And that would have been bad. The liquid would expand and crack the block, and the car would have been junk. But that didn't happen. But I can tell you that 30 below zero Fahrenheit is it's very chilly. It'll get you, especially if there's any wind. You can't be out in that for very long unless you're really well protected. But south of us in Texas and Tennessee and into Georgia and the Carolinas, there's a really bad winter storm bringing ice, freezing rain, which coats everything in ice, and that's devastating. It breaks trees and poles and power lines and just causes huge amounts of damage. Okay, that's cleaned up. How does this? Oh my. Okay, I talk about the edges. Okay, where the seams come together on the mold. Look at that. That whole thing just needs a major rubbing down with. I'm going to use the 320 grit on that. That's going to take a lot of work. Use this coarser sandpaper to get those edges down, and then I'll just do a couple rounds of like 1,000 grit and then polish it. There's no other way around it. That is it's not, wow, it's just very bad. So I need to take a lot of plastic off. This is one of those things where I'm making the decision to use coarse sandpaper to take the plastic off so that it smooths out, and then take the time later to sand out the sanding scratches. I'm quite sure that this is the correct choice here in terms of the amount of time it's going to take to fix this. I have some even coarser paper, 150. That would be, but that would just tear it up. That that would end up costing time rather than saving time. Wow. Yeah, yeah, this was not carefully done. But this is taking it down, pretty quickly. It's a spare tire cover actually that having a little bit less shiny surface and a more not eroded, but by saying coarser surface, a little rougher surface on the vinyl cover of the spare tire probably isn't too terribly inauthentic. But I guess, I just have to say, when you're getting really cold weather with wind and it's dangerous to be outside and you're thankful for that because of the alternative. That means it's pretty rough weather down there. Well, I am making some progress on this. On Monday, there'll be just a variety of options for me. I just if I get this painted, primed and painted black, I can work on some of the interior detail, like the window handles and the chrome edging on the pedals. Just try it, and hopefully it'll succeed. If not, then I'll have to be. I might have to end up like could even happen that I could end up having to like reprime it and repaint it. It's a possibility. It could go that way, or it might turn out looking okay. I'm not sure. But if it looks okay, then I could actually assemble this. It's not a difficult thing to do actually to do that. To put to just put like the rear tire shelf in and the rear tire, the spare tire. I could find the armrest somewhere. Tiny little pieces. There's just weird, just difficult little bits and pieces in the whole dashboard. But I could paint the seats. I could try to get the chrome trim on the seats. I can work on assembling the putting the engine and the exhaust together on the bottom in the car, the frame. That's something I could do if this all sets up pretty well. I can sand down the tachometer pod where I put the filler in and see if I need more filler. So on Monday, when I get back to this, I'll be doing some painting and some assembly, and it will look like some progress is probably being made. There was progress made today. I would show it to you again to prove that it was done, but I don't want to move these boxes around this late in the stream in order to, just to show you that I assembled something. Finish sanding this. I'm actually going to paint the whole bottom of this black as well, because I don't know what's going to show through the frame and what isn't. Okay, I mean I really don't know, and I could I guess I could kind of piece things together. Mm. But sometimes if there's little openings in the frame and like around the engine and things, the stuff will show. And it's better. I think it's just better to paint it black, and then I don't have to think about it or worry about it later. This is making a mess, and I have to do a fair amount of just wiping things down. And when I wipe them down, I'm just going to wipe them across, and then wipe them down, wipe them across. It's another one of those weird little idioms that comes with the language. We say and we don't think about it. And then if you think about it, you go, oh, that's a weird thing. And it is. Languages are weird that way, where they use words that mean one thing and put them together with other words to mean something else. And then you grow up with it and get used to it. But if you think about it, or you learn a language from a different language, you go, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, that was a lot of sanding, but it now looks, it doesn't look like two pieces of plastic that were thrown together in a mold. That looks pretty okay. So we'll leave that there. I should write on it what it is, because there's still some left. There. I'm going to use I'll just use the polishing cloth on it. And however it turns out is how it will look when it's done. What I'm going to do next is clean this surface up, clean it up, wash it down, clean it up. What? Why are there directions involved? Okay, that suddenly just stops. It just stops making sense. I'm going to clean it, and then I'm going to wash these parts with some isopropyl alcohol, because there's a lot of sanding dust on them. And then get some cardboard and some in a box so I can prime them and paint them. You still kind of see the line where it was, but I think it looks okay. All right. Let's bundle this stuff up here. bundle it up. Another directional thing, up, down, up, down. I don't know what those mean in this context, but they're words. I think this is going to get tossed. In fact, I'm going to use this with the cleaning up and the washing down. And a piece of cardboard. Tape up. Stiff. First things first. That doesn't make any sense either, does it? Of course, first thing should be first. That's why they're called first. Otherwise, you would call them not something other than first. The isopropyl alcohol is good. It's, fairly safe. They use it for massages. Give you an alcohol rub. I guess they call it that. But it doesn't. Yeah, that'll be okay. Like on the cardboard, it doesn't soak the cardboard and distort it. So that's a good thing. All right. Even big pieces like this, when they're sprayed, the spray will move them around. I think these are the only bits that need to be primed, aren't they? Okay. Seats. Oh, if I spray paint things black, though, then I need to be prepared to paint the seats. Those are going to be. I need to be able to paint underneath them. It's just really hard to get the edges. Okay, I'm going to do. This is okay. This I can paint. I can get around these parts. This is a problem I've had in the past with the spray painting, is when you need to get it like all around the edges here, if it's on a thing like this, even if you paint it from the side, it doesn't get done. So what I want to do is I actually want to put these on sticks so I can hold them up and paint them around. Yeah, I got like 15 minutes yet. This piece of cardboard is too big, so I will make it smaller. Okay. Let's tape them here while I'm doing this. Just so it doesn't fly off. And I'm going to do this. These need to be primed, so prime the bottoms first, flip them over, prime the tops, flip them back, spray paint the bottoms black, flip them over, spray paint the tops black. Sure. So that'll keep it from flying away. Now, as far as these go, um, I've used this before, and I said, no, I'm not going to use this anymore because it's really a mess to clean up. But I think if I put it on the bottoms, yeah, I need some sticks. Like this. I've got little pieces of balsa. I think these will work. I don't wear a rubber glove when I do this. I'm going to put it on the bottom like this, and then hold it while I spray it, and then use alligator clips to hold it in this thing, which is now holding something else, but it will be not holding that. So this doesn't clean off the plastic at all, really, but when it's underneath here like that, it will be invisible in the sense of literal sense of not being visible. Okay, that will actually do. And I'm going to do the same thing with the chairs, the seats. Because these on the bottom will never be seen after they're assembled. What this will give me is, as long as I don't drop it, which I have done. I have done this sort of thing before, and I've dropped them, and that's been bad. But if I don't drop them, this will now be in half. Ta-da. Then I'll be able to spray paint along the bottom edges like that and make sure that they're well covered. That is the idea. And I will need this because what will happen now is I'll get, oh my, yep, I can tell this is getting into the last half hour of the stream. I'm knocking things over and haven't broken anything, but this is why I have to be very careful about touching things. I want this to stay upright like this, so I'm just going to attach it. I'm going to attach it to the cardboard here. There. It's kind of a dangerous thing to do, in that it could be knocked over, but and then these just get clipped and set in like this after I Like I hold them and spray them, and then just put them in like, yeah. Oh, that's what I've done before. That's really not good. Is I've done this, and when I put the parts in like this, okay, they bump into each other. I don't want to do that. I don't want them touching each other when the paint is wet. Some of these are different sizes than others. Yeah, that fits better. Mm-hmm. Well, that came off. Well, this will either work or it won't, and if it does, then it did, and if it doesn't, then I have to fix an oops. Okay, so those can be there like this. They're fairly far apart. They shouldn't bump into each other. Trying to get one that fits in that hole better. That's better. Yep. See me? Did you see me bang into it as I moved from one place to the other? It's like, oh, yeah. Let's just smash into things. That's a good way to do it. So if I remember, to put it in like that, then they're less likely to smash into each other. See, that's a bigger one. I can take one of the larger size clips. Well, there, yeah. So that's going to be like that after I hold them and spray them around the edges. Okay. Um, these are already primed, so I don't need to prime them again. These will get primed. These three things will be primed, and then all five of these things will be painted black. And on Monday, um, I'll be doing more stuff with the car. I'll be doing some painting. I'll be doing some sanding. I'll be doing a bunch of part fitting, and there might even be some assembly if the parts fit together well. I don't know. That is to be seen. I'm going to wrap up. Um, there isn't much more I can do here today without probably causing a problem. So I'm going to avoid causing a problem and just end the stream in a bit. But before I do, I want to remind everybody that Dyson Dungeons is all about its Dungeons and Dragons show, and you absolutely need to watch it. I'd recommend the best way is just to catch it on YouTube, and then you can watch it at a time and a place that you find convenient. So do that. Look up Dyson Dungeons, watch some of our episodes. I think you'll find it very enjoyable. Um, and that this is just a spin-off, and I haven't shown those in a while. Maybe I will on Monday, where I used to paint uh, minifigs and dungeon tiles for the show, and there might be some minifigs coming up again in the future. I don't know. I don't know that either. If they do, then I'll be painting them on this stream. But yeah, support Dyson Dungeons. You can become a follower either here or um, on Twitch when it streams on Sundays. You can become what is a subscriber on YouTube, I think. Or you can go to patreon.com/Dyson Dungeons to support the show that way. And that would be good too. You get our improv warm ups. They're kind of amusing. They're actually quite amusing. And other things, if you become a patron, it'd be a really good way to do that. But I'm going to keep plugging away at this car. I predicted at the end of last year when I first opened the kit that it might end up taking the entire year to finish. And I don't know, it might. It looks like I've been doing some things, but I've hardly even really started on the model, especially in terms of the more difficult parts. So, yeah, there it is. I will. Hmm. No, I'm sorry. I'm just skipping ahead and looking at the at the instructions here. Don't want you to cement the wheels on. The wheels are supposed to turn. That never works. That never ever works. Okay, thanks everybody. I'm going to wrap up, finish for today. I'll be back on Monday at sort of around 10 o'clock. If you're in the path of that really bad storm, please be careful. You know, it looks pretty dangerous. So hopefully you will be okay during the storm and in the aftermath of it. If you're up here where it's cold, just don't go outside unless you really have to. Okay. Be safe. Take care. We'll see you on Monday.